So, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Let me just I'm not really set up, but I'm going to put something here anyway. I thought we were in a new chat actually, but it seems to be the old chat that we had earlier on. So I'm going to put some images here so if anyone joins, they can see what we're going to cover today. Hope you're all doing well. I don't know why it hasn't cleared the chat. That is really odd, but never mind. So let's do it. How are you all doing? Welcome to my live stream. I am Art Walker. I am the man behind this machine. I do all of these tutorials free of charge, as some of you may know. They vary. It depends on what I'm doing. I do a lot of anatomy stuff. As you can see here on this card here, I do a lot of anatomy stuff. And I'll break down images like this and stuff like that. I do a lot of anime stuff, just my style of anime. I wouldn't go so far as to say it's traditional, but it's good enough for someone that's starting out and wanting to learn how to draw. So what we're going to do today is poses. We are going to do poses. So I've got a couple of examples here. This is just some random kind of dude here in a kind of not sneaky pose, but you can see the pose tells a lot about what he's doing. And then we have a more extreme pose here, or position, body position. So I can quickly go into how to draw stuff like that. How you doing, Lucas? Nice to see you. And I've also got a gift, which is very nice of you. So thank you very much. So we can go into the basics of how to draw poses, and then we can gradually get into more complicated poses if it goes in that direction. As you all know, I do this for free. So please hit the like button to help the algorithm support me. So if I support you, please support me by just simply hitting the like button, and then everybody's happy. So I'm going to put these away. I thought a few more were going to turn up, but that's okay. So let's go into. I've got a couple of other poses here. I'll just drag these out quickly. So this is the Black Panther that I drew quite a while ago, and then what I will do is I'll break down poses like this. You see this pose here, but we have to understand some basic body mechanics. And also like this. Very extreme, but pretty cool, if I'm honest. So if you like this kind of stuff, you're in the right place. Not just for males, also for females. I do poses with females, and recently I did one on cool, elegant poses. So we'll probably cover some of that very quickly today. Right, so let's see what's going on in the chat. So well, John, you may be in the right place. Hopefully I can keep you inspired, duly inspired. So let's do it. Poses, poses, poses. So for me, it's important to understand the basics of how to draw the human body, right? So if you haven't, if you're not following me, then you probably don't know how I start. So I normally start with drawing the human head, and this is the benchmark that I have for the whole body, because roughly the human head, we go down 3 to the hips. So that would be roughly 1, 2, 3. So this would be the point that our hips would end up, right? So if you haven't got that in mind, yes, I'm making another live, because I did say I was going to make another live. I did actually say that just now. So we just need to go through the basic fundamentals of how to draw a human body. 3 heads high. The entire body is roughly around. I'm actually going to change that. roughly around 8 heads high. Kira, how are you doing? You've been off the radar for quite a while. I hope you're doing well. So I'm going to finish off this person here. Very basic stance, just to show you what we need to start our basic drawing. So I hope you've drawn one yourself, roughly around 8 heads high. Whoops, I've made that a little bit too high. Let's shift it up a bit here. So everywhere you see a circle is a joint, and the lines represent the arms and bones and stuff like that. So I'm just going to draw a basic person, hopefully not too wild with it, with the proportions, as I do tend to do. But I'm going to try and be a good boy today and draw them properly. So this is a basic person. Is everybody up to speed on that? How you doing, V? Is everyone up to speed on that? Knox is going to go along with this one. That's good. Wise perspective anatomy. Sorry, why perspective? It's hard. Yeah, well, until you understand it, it is hard. I agree. Maybe you just don't understand it yet. Maybe you don't even understand the human body yet. That's possibly the problem. I'm good, thanks. I'm doing all right. I've got a day off today. Soldiering on, as you see. No, I'm not doing bad at all, thanks. Thank you for the presents, the kitties or whatever now. So is everyone good on that? So let's go a bit further. We're talking about poses, right? So we're gonna, if we can't draw the human body in its most basic way, we won't be able to do poses. So if you are struggling with drawing a human body like this, chances are you're going to struggle with the next set of things that I'm showing you. However, it doesn't mean it's not achievable, but you just have to try and follow along with what I'm doing. Like so. So as you can see here, I'm adding cylinders to complete the body. All right, so we've got a male figure, pretty basic, nothing too fancy, nothing too muscular, as I have this tendency to do, because I draw a lot of anatomy and I tend to make it really, really muscular. Is everyone clear on that? So our goal now is to draw people in different positions. Can everyone hear me? I'm wondering if everyone's hearing me. Just wondering. Everyone there? All good. Okay, well that's what, yeah, you guys have to let me know, because then I don't know if I should move on or not. Right, so for me, the important thing to understand is, if you want to learn to draw poses, you have to know that the body is a 3D object, right? You have to really be really push yourself to remember that we are drawing a 3D object, right? So if these are our shoulders for this guy here, this is his head. We have now got our person. These short, yeah, the shoulders are a bit broader here, but never mind. We now have a person that is viewed, and we can see 3 dimensions, right? We can see the front, the top, and the side, right? So that is important that you understand this. I keep doing this box here, but I prefer to do a funnel. And then after that, we add the various tubes or cylinders to create our person. So now we've got this robotic looking guy, but that's okay, because that's what we need initially, because that just tells us that we are understanding what we are drawing. Let's just add some squares for the hands, like so. So we've already got, I don't know, it's not a very good pose, but we could already say that this guy is in some sort of pose. Very robotic, I know, but you can say, yeah, he looks like he's walking. And that's what we are trying to catch. We're trying to capture the fact that our person or character is naturally walking. This looks very robotic. But you get my point, right? You get my point, because our goal is to have something like this, right? Have something like this, not like that. So our goal is to draw something like this, right? I just threw that together. This is where we're going to go with it. But this is just to make you understand this is 2-dimensional and this is 3-dimensional. Stiff as whatever. Very, very stiff, but it's quite funny anyway. Good. Is everyone getting that? Is everyone getting that? If you like what you see, please hit the like button. If you really like what you see, please share it. Good. Good stuff. Okay. I'm not sure about 4D. Not sure about that. Not sure if I can do that with a pen. Can't do 5D with the pen. Never tried it. But anyway, moving on. So, what I like to encourage people to do now is, say, for example, draw some curved lines like so. So please draw some curved lines like that. Thank you, Isla. How you doing, Beast? Everyone draw some curved lines like that. And then simply put a cross on the top here. When you've done that, let me know. Let me know. Done it. Good. Now, turn that into not a box shape, but you know this body shape that we've got here. It's like a flattened box. So turn that into a flattened box. And don't worry too much about proportion at the moment. We just want to try and understand it. So just understanding it is the key. So what have I drawn here? I'm going to mark it with this green, this green. Okay, why not? It's just falling out. Oh, thank you, Beast. Thank you very much. They're unedited. It's pretty much the same as here. So yeah, I just maybe cut off the end part where I'm sitting there and I'm going like this. In the beginning, I just cut off the boring parts. Or when I forget to switch off the camera. Done that as well. Heard myself talking in the kitchen. So I digress. So here, this line here is the spine. It doesn't go right down to here, but this represents the spine, right? So the spine stops around here. I should have stopped it there, but it's just something small. So the spine is here, and we have the front of the chest here. So now, remember that this here is our spine, right? This here. The spine has its limitations, right? You cannot overbend the spine because then it just looks broken and weird, right? Obviously, the head is connected to the spine, right? Oh, you love my authenticity? Yeah, I just whatever. Why would you want to be anyone else? Just be yourself, right? You mean, okay, let me just check. Do you mean there will be a recording of the lessons? Yes, all of my lessons are on my YouTube. They are being uploaded daily. So I've done one today, and that was on, what was that one? Clothing. So the clothing one, hopefully I will upload that today. I'm uploading another one. So it takes a bit of processing time. So please follow my Art Walker on YouTube. You'll see my face. you can't mistaken my lives, and you literally see this live fully from the beginning. It's being recorded as we speak. Thank you very much, TJ. Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. We'll see. We'll see. Can't say upper left since limitation. Hold on. Can you make a reference? Someone is walking front side while their head is looking up. Yes, I have one now. I have one now, and I'm trying to service it. We're going to slow down, Colip. We need to slow down a little bit because we need to understand the basics first, right? So I'm not going to refer to your question yet because it's a little bit too far ahead. So when we draw the human head, right, because there's a lot that we need to cover in this one. This is why I don't really like to do poses, because there is a lot of information that you have to process, right? So if I'm drawing the human head from the front, you've seen it here. If I'm drawing it from the side, you see it, and it looks roughly like this. And then we have the flat of the skull here. This line here is this line here. Is everybody clear on that? Thank you for your subscriptions, and thank you for your follows. No, right? That is important, right? And what I'm going to show you again is, if you imagine our skull is connected to our spine, roughly like that. Is that right? Hold on. So we've got, I've done that wrong. Like that, roughly like that. I've gone a little bit too wide there. So our spine is connected to our hips like so. So our hips would be here, and our body and spine would be here. That's what you have to understand, right? Person from the side. So this is this guy here. And then obviously we can add our details, shoulder, face, and so on. See that? Chest. And I've gone back a little bit here. I should have gone forward, but you get my point, right? Then we add the stomach, obliques, and then we have a person from the side. Yeah? Right. So remember, we're dealing with three-dimensional objects, right? So from the front, it looks like this. From the side, the head looks like that. From a 3D position, three-dimensional position, can everyone please draw maybe 4 spheres like that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Just random spheres like that. When you've done that, let me know. And I know I'm taking my time to get into this, but if you don't understand this, you're going to be lost. And you're going to get stressed out, throw the computer out the window and stuff like that. We don't want that now, do we? So when you've drawn a couple of squares, when you've drawn a couple of squares like this, let me know. Good, Caleb. Yeah, that's why I want to take you through it slowly, because maybe you know already. Maybe it's making that click already, right? Thank you for the kind gifts. Easy, designed by Newman, DS, and V. And B. Done. Good. So now, imagine the human head is like You know, like those Baby Bell cheeses. You know those Baby Bell cheeses? The little red ones, flattened on the side. That's what we're going to do. We're flattening it here on the sides. See that? We're flattening it. Does anyone not know what I mean when I say Baby Bell cheese and it's flattened on the side? Almost like a grapefruit. Yeah, you could almost say grapefruit as well. Yes. Yes, it's like the Loomies head method. The Baby Bell method. We're just going to go the Baby Bell method. Because not everybody knows the Loomies method. But pretty much everybody knows what a grapefruit looks like. And pretty much everyone, not everyone, but pretty much everyone knows what a Baby Bell is. Not a big fan of cheese. Oh yeah, I'm not great. I don't really love cheese either, to be honest. And so yeah, you got someone that loves it. So there you go. But these are the things I don't say like the Loomies method for a reason, because I'm assuming that people don't know what that is. I would lose half of my audience if I just said, "Oh yeah, the Loomies method," and they'd be like, "What's that?" So that's why I say a Baby Bell. That's why I say a grapefruit, because pretty much everyone knows what these things look like, right? So now, if you see, we've got the flat of the skull here, right? I've got it drawn here as well, right? Got the flat of the skull here. I'm just going to hatch it quickly. So this flat here is here, where I'm highlighting it here. That's where we flattened it. And I'm just drawing this little hatch there just to show you that is where we are flattening the skull. There, right? So now, when you look at that, you can understand exactly what I'm drawing. This line here, I'm going to highlight it in red here. This red, well, need to. This line here is this line here, is this line here. You still following? Is everyone getting what that line is? So now when I add this line here to here, now you understand exactly where, in fact, let me stick to the color scheme. Now I'm going to do the flat first, flat, and then I'm going to go like so. Then I'm going to go like so, like so, and then one more like so. What does that look like to you? You guys getting it? You see it? So now, this is the head. Looking to my left or right? Where is this head looking? Where is that head looking? And so on. So hopefully you guys are drawing along, because that's the key. Because if you don't draw along, you're probably not going to pick. You'll probably think, yeah, I got it, but you're going to forget tomorrow and start crying. And we don't want that, do we? Exactly. It's looking to my left. It's literally like that. So this is obviously looking to the right. This is down left. And this is up right. If you like what you see, please hit the like button. If you really like what you see, buy me a Bentley. Don't care about the color, because you guys know I'm doing this for free. Oh, really? That's good. That's good. When you go to bed, close your eyes and think, what did he say? What did that guy say again? Oh, yeah, buy him a Bentley. Yeah. So, yeah, is everyone getting that? Oh, Kay, why are you crying, Kay? What's up, mate? Don't cry. Don't cry. I don't mind the color. I don't mind the color. You can buy me anyone you want. But nothing's for free in this life. That's why you guys are trapped for life with me now. Is everyone getting that? Everyone getting it? Sun is out. So the flat and the center line. Yes, that helps. If you imagine here, I've got that center line. I've got this red center line here, and I tilt it this way. That center line determines in what direction you're looking in. You see that? If I go like this, it goes like that. The center line is only to orientate this 3D object. This is why I always say poses are a lot of work. I avoid poses purely because you have to understand so many different things. You have to understand 3D objects. You have to understand foreshortening. You have to understand what else? Foreshortening, 3D objects. The body itself, you have to understand. Anatomy, you have to understand it. That's why I avoid it. But if you guys are hanging in there with me, it's all good. So, what is this stream teaching I just joined? We're learning how to draw the human body in poses. BMW to the dealership. I think that's BMW. It's OMW. Maybe it's a typing error. What is this one about? Usually, every lesson that I start, I change the title. So if you read the title, you will see body parts. Oh, it's ONW. Oh, okay. Yes. So we are studying how to draw people in poses. Thank you very, very much. Designs by Newman for your kind gifts. I've been trying to crack this all day for project. Good. Well, you're in the right place. So now we are talking about poses. So, oops, I've drawn this over one of my poses. Now we understand how the neck connects to the spine here and to the back of the head here, right? So now what we have to do is we add our three-dimensional head onto, I can't do that one, onto our spine. See that? So I draw the spine, I draw the head, I draw the head position or face position, flat of the head, then I draw the shoulders. And now we have someone looking up to my right. I'm going to stop here because I don't want to lose anyone. But this is something you have to practice. Determine where the spine is, determine where the head is, determine where it's looking, shoulders, body, hips. I'm going to stop the action there. Please hit the like button and please share my live stream if you care. That would be really nice. And if you're not following, I think you should, because my live streams are pretty good. And I've got quite a few followers that are agreeing to that as well. So, anyone got any questions? Share if you care. Any questions? No? No questions. Okay, well, let's keep going. Yeah, But this is what I'm saying. That Isla, this is what I'm saying with regards to poses. Poses. This one is looking up, by the way. But if you do not understand the mechanics of the human head, you have to try and understand that the human head is like a wedge. Well, like I said, a grapefruit with a wedge on the front. If you don't understand that, you will struggle. But that is something you have to keep practicing. You have to keep drawing the head in as many different positions as possible and understand it's a three-dimensional object. Because I could tell you 100 times what it is, but if it doesn't make that click, it will never click. But until you start to understand the limitations of the neck movement and so on, then you'll be fine. But that's why I actually wanted to do a head drawing, specifically head drawing, because drawing the head is a mystery already, because we've got the eyes that are sunken in here, the face protrudes out here, or it gets quite tricky. The body usually it's around three heads to here. It's around three heads. So that is literally one to here. It should be three. 1, 2, 3. 3 heads. And then the legs vary as well. So it's usually around 3 heads. But that varies. You have people with longer bodies and yeah. So any other questions about what I've delivered up until now? And I'm not going to get into the features as well. I'm not going to get into the facial features because that is another tutorial. Unfortunately, we're just doing poses and then we just stick to poses, because facial features, we will be here for days. I don't have that much time, unfortunately. Well, the body from the side is it's literally what I've drawn here, to be fair. It's literally, you have to understand that. That is the body from the side. What else can I say about that? There's not much more I can say about that. That's the body from the side. I'm not sure what I can say about that. It's pretty self-explanatory. Three heads. Your head height down to your hips 3 times. The distance between your head to here, 3 heads. 1, then you go here, and then 3. Good. Oh, I'm glad I'm helping you. Designs by Newman. I'm glad I'm helping you. I'm not sure what you mean, lemon layer, but like what parts are which? That's too vague. Woof. I don't know what you're talking about, but what parts are which? The spine is here. This is why I've done it in green here, to show you the spine. And the spine is not straight, and it connects to the back of the head. I followed you now. Thank you for your knowledge. You're welcome, Creeksider. What body parts are the different segments? I'm not sure. Okay, so this is the rib cage. This is the rib cage. Here we would have the hips. So this is now, we're going into the anatomy of it. And this is what I was trying to avoid. So I'm going to, rib cage, I'm going to highlight in red. Hips, I'm going to highlight in red. Thigh bone, red. Shin bone, red. Thigh bone, red. Shin bone, red. Obviously, we'd have the arms. I can probably just add arm here, red. In the same way that we would have rib cage here, red. Spine is at the back, Then we add the abdominals at the front. This is where it gets quite complicated. I did say this. Then we add the obliques, and then we go further and further into anatomy drawing. However, that's what we have to avoid, because the body, if we look at these bodies here, this was just the torso. This was here. I actually did when was that? On the 16th. Just on the torso alone. So this is why poses is a really tricky subject, I find. That's why I try not to offer it straight away, because you have to know so many things. In the same way here, we have a flat object, then we turn it into a 3D object, then we have to add muscle definition. You're never going to pick that up in one lesson, if I'm honest. No matter how good I am, well, hopefully I would be that good, but I don't think it's possible. As you can see here, we're covering pretty much the same thing here as we are here. So, any questions? I think I've covered that question from Lemon Layer. I think so, because that was about the segments. So, anyone else got any questions about what I'm trying to explain to you guys and girls? Thank you very, very much for the follows, Palmer and Tic Tac and Luke. Much appreciated. If you like what you see, please hit the like button and share if you really care. And thank you for the follow, Creekside. Right, and someone asked about a sitting person. But I believe that we need to discuss something else first. That's what I believe we need to do. Exactly. I think we need to understand moving body parts, because if you start jumping the gun, then you'll find yourself in a tricky situation. So let's do that. So if we have, let's draw a person, very basic, right? I'm drawing these people very basic because we don't need a masterpiece to explain what we need to do, right? So if this is a person, from the front, I've drawn his hip area here, shoulder, rib cage, and so on, right? So we've got this person here. Remember, this is our spine, and it's at the back, right? I know it sounds a bit obvious, but sometimes when I draw these lines, they look like they're at the front. It's not, it's at the back. So what you have to understand is, I'm going to draw a basic person here without the head. When I draw the shoulder in theory would look like this. Realistically, our shoulder is connected to our upper arm. It looks like that. All right, the bone actually looks like that. However, we don't draw it like that. We just draw a sphere and a line. So that is that. So this is why you see me draw it like that. Because I don't need all that detail. All the detail is going to be hidden by the muscle and so on. That's why we don't do that. Yeah? So, as we've done here, I added the cylinders and stuff like that. So you have to imagine, how does that joint move? Forward and back, side to side. All you have to do is tilt this line that way, as far as it can go, from this pivot point here. So if that's the pivot point, I know the arm can go to roughly here. I know the arm can go to here. And so on. And backwards down to here. That is simply waving. Obviously, the other arm can do the same, right? So it can go from here to here. Don't forget the pivot point to here, even up to right up to here. So bear that in mind. We can actually put our arms up like that. So tick, and then forward and backwards, right? Obviously. So now, when that is clear, and it should be clear now, you have to imagine the hand, the arm from the front. So what would that look like? I'm testing now. If you like what you see, please hit the like button. What would that look like? Thank you for the follow. What would it look like? What would the arm look like from the front? Here we've got it from the side, going like this. What would it look like from the front? Any suggestions? Anyone got any suggestions? I'm just going to see. I'm going to wait to see if anyone's still awake. We're running out of time as well, actually, because this is a huge, huge tutorial. Huge. This would... Exactly. It would just be a circle. So, this... Exactly. Now we have to understand that the shoulder looks like this. The cylinder is the upper arm. Then we have the elbow. Then we have the lower arm. Then we have the hand. You see that? So now we've got an arm going like this. You see that? I should have actually drawn it on here. But if I draw that on here, the pivot point, remember I spoke about the pivot point before. The pivot point would be here, and then the hand, let's say the hand is roughly here. I'm just going to draw a basic hand. If you don't know how to draw hands, check my hand drawing tutorials on my TikTok feed and my YouTube. This arm is a bit short. Unfortunately, I can't change that now. But if that arm is here and he's lifting it upwards, this arm, would be going up like that to the point that the hand would be here. So, I don't even know what... Yeah, I probably could. The Gorilla's art style, I think I could. It's quite basic style. See, we've got this now. If I can draw this, I'm sure I can draw the Gorilla's style. Because I think it's quite angular, quite... Not basic, but it's quite distinct. That's the word I'm using. So, cleanse what's that? Clincy Burner. Thank you very, very much for the heart. No, not yet, not yet, not yet. We're getting there. We're getting there, mate. I haven't done a drop the pen for a while. That's really nice. Is everyone getting that? So now we've got the hand going upwards and downwards. We've got it from side to side. This is why it's an in-depth tutorial. So now, if I draw this, what do we have? What do we have? I'm doing it very quickly. As you guys know, we're built for speed. And now I'm going to one. What would that be? I'll make that a little bit bigger. What would that be? What would that signify? I didn't draw gorillas. I didn't draw the green. I didn't. No, I wish I did. Exactly. So now we have, imagine we have this arm here, right? This arm here. We've got the body here. We've got the forearm here. And then we've got the upper arm here. We've now got, oh, I've got a parcel. Just a minute. Sorry. Ja, gut, danke. Danke vielmals. Bitte schön, Stanley. Danke. Alle. So let me just grab a glass of water quickly as well. I had a parcel delivered. Sorry about that. Hold on. God, time is flying. I can't believe it. 20 past 11. Really? God dear. Jonas Tagley. Good. So, Jonas Tagley, you heard him, right? Yeah, this is the thing with the whole body and poses. It gets really complicated very quickly. So now we've foreshortened this arm here because we had it here static, right? So if I go like this, you see the hand is coming slightly like this in towards us, right? Exactly. You need to study the anatomy, right? And the same is, say for example, if I draw, I need a bit of space now. If I draw the hips here, I like to draw the hips like that. It's more accurate for me. So you have to imagine if I was to take a section of this thigh here and draw it from the front. So let's draw these shapes here. All right. So now you have to imagine if you were to look at that from the front, all you would see is this. In theory, yes. However, with foreshortening, what is closest will be longer. What is further away would be smaller, Paris. So in theory, if I'm standing right in front of you, it's the same. But if you look at my arm here, my forearm looks longer than my um, um, upper arm. It looks longer because it's closer, but because it recedes into the background, it looks smaller. Bit of a tricky one. Another one, foreshortening. It all starts to pile up, right? So this here is the same as this here, directly from the front. So if I draw this thigh here, I've got this thigh here, right? This circle here, if we imagine we've got one circle here and we've got one here. If this young lady lifts her leg up, the higher she lifts her leg, the less we're going to see of the back circle and the more we're going to see of the front circle. And then her leg would be up. Yeah, never mind. I'll do it like that. And the other leg would be down. It's a bit tricky. I know. It's a little bit tricky. Also went to art school, but you probably teach me more to be honest. They didn't know. And yeah, well, this is the thing. And I'm not an art teacher. Can you believe it? Anyway, moving on. It's like you got life coaches that don't know anything about life. It's just like, what are you talking about? You're 15 years old. Thank you very much for that. It was just slipping. It slipped a little bit. Thank you very much, Paris. Much appreciated. Because I tend to do that. It slips away. So I appreciate that. Roberta, you're late. You're late, very late. In fact, we're nearly in an hour. Wow, we're nearly well. I have to finish up because I've got to go for lunch today. So we're gonna have to do a quick one now because we haven't even really got into the poses as such. Slightly, I suppose we've got one person standing on their leg. Second one, bit of foreshortening. We've kind of skimmed through pretty much everything. Because it's going to get really deep now. Just quickly, as I've drawn that here, if you're not aware of how I draw hands, check my feed, right? And then I draw hands in the same way that I draw the body parts, right? So this information is interchangeable because the joints are circles, the lines are the fingers, right, and bones, and the cylinders are actually the bones, right? So that's how we would draw a hand. So the same is if we're drawing a hand coming towards us. We gradually see less. Let me just draw one. I'm just going to draw one finger. Swap pen, that might help. This joint here is maybe this one here. The joints get slightly bigger the closer they come to us. And then this is the biggest part. And then this would be the knuckle at the back to this part here. So let's go 1, 2, and the third is here, 3. So this would be the third. And then we'd add our cylinder here again. And then we would add our fingertip here. I know this is slightly off track when it comes to poses, but the principle is the same. whatever is at the back gets smaller, whatever is at the front gets larger. And that's what we have to understand, especially here. Unfortunately, we didn't get into anything really meaty. But say, for example, this kind of pose, if I was to draw that again, we're going to have to break down this information, right? So just quickly, I'm looking at his leg here. I'm trying not to draw off camera. There you go. Oh, in fact, I can't do it with that one. Okay, let's just do it. So you go like this. You have to determine where your midpoint is. So my midpoint is roughly here, right? So my midpoint, that would be where the hips are. You have to know the flow of the spine. So I know the spine has to flow like this because I'm thinking about head position, right? So his head position is roughly here. Midpoint, here to the foot. I'm going to exaggerate it a bit, right? Just to show you. So now that's the position I'm looking for. So we've got mid, 1, 2, roughly here. Foot. Thinking about the foot is coming slightly towards us, right? Now we're looking at, okay, where do we want his arm? His arm is pushing out to this side here. So I'm going to push that out that way. And his other arm, I'm just checking the image just so I can do it accurately here. So, and he's got his fist here. See, now when I look at this now, I am calculating the proportion, hand position, thumb position. I said proportion, excuse me. Like so. That's about right. Okay, let's shift that up. If it's not right, shift that up. So now I'm going to add my cylinders. See, now we're adding all our cylinders. This is going to cover the arm. All right, so it's like so, cylinder. And then we've got our calf. I've exaggerated that leg part. Maybe it's a bit too much. So I'm going to shift that over a little bit. Body, we can just add sweeping lines, cylinder, 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 and cylinder. Not forgetting our head is a 3D object. Where is the person looking? Let's say he's looking directly to the front. So then we draw him looking directly to the front. And now we have, let's put his foot, on his toes a little bit. Like so, tuck. Almost looks more, it looks a bit more feminine than male. However, if we wanted to really take it to the next level, we would then add our muscles, big neck, calf, and then now you can see how I developed that into adding all the muscle groups. Oh, my alarm's going off. One moment. So that means I have to go soon, very soon. So that's why I'm kind of flying through this. But you can see how quickly this becomes an action pose, but you have to have the understanding of the anatomy. That would be you, would it? How long have I been drawing? I'm drawing seriously now, maybe for the last 10 months. But I'm studying as well. I'm studying actually. Drop the pen. I didn't do my drop the pen. I didn't. It does deserve that. It deserves a drop the pen. That deserves a drop the pen. But there are many things to cut, and it still looks. This looks more like a feminine body. I can actually say that looks like a feminine body. That's how we do it. Drop the pen. I didn't drop the pen. I should have. You see, I'm getting humble in my old age. I think my jaw just dropped. Now you guys know DTP. That's it. DTP. So luckily, I am actually recording this, so I can post this, and you guys can see exactly what I did here. No, don't be defeated. Don't be defeated. Don't be defeated. You've got this. You've got this. You just have to follow me. You know, we'll do this one again. I think we'll have to do this one again because I had to rush it a little bit. But when you do join my live streams and you think, oh, he's doing hands again, or oh, he's doing toes again and feet, boring stuff. Literally the boring stuff. The boring stuff is the foundation to your artwork. You have to have a good knowledge of the boring stuff. Because when you've got a good knowledge of the boring stuff, you start to look at things like this and you recognize them as things like that. Do you see what I'm saying? That is so key to understanding where you go with your artwork after that. If you don't know what that looks like and you don't recognize that as a 3D object, you're going to be stuck and frustrated and start crying and end up bored like me. And you don't want that. So if you like what you see, please hit the like button. I'm going to wind this down now. I will be posting these almost immediately today on my TikTok feed. So if you want to recap and have a look at that, check that out. And then hopefully this evening, I'll post the whole thing on my YouTube channel. And I'm thinking I might actually draw a young lady out of this because it's looking pretty cool. I just have to adjust the foot position a little bit. I think the foot position's a bit off, but I think I could draw quite a cool young lady out of that. So let me see what's going on in the chat. I'll try and upload. I'm uploading something already now. I have to cut it quickly. Hopefully by 4 o'clock, because it takes a while. It takes a while to process the information. Then I have to look through it. This one should be quite simple because there's nothing. Well, I'm going to leave the part where the postman turned up. You guys can skip that yourselves. But hopefully by 4 o'clock it should be all up there. Everything in stages. Everything in stages. There are things that I draw that I have to sometimes. I can't be distracted when I draw them because it's a lot of work. Like drawing the hips for me is still quite tricky. But that's another level when you draw the hips as an anatomical object because it's got so many moving parts. But that's quite high level. And you don't need to know that. You can just draw the hips like this, and that's enough. But I'm just trying to take my artwork to the next level. I think I'll watch more boring stuff. So I'm off to stalk your YouTube. Thank you. Yes. So please subscribe to my YouTube if you like the way I work. And all of my other videos or live streams are pretty much the same as this. Cover quite a lot of information, but I do break down individual elements like hands, arms, thighs. So you will find a lot of those. They will be uploaded for shortening, for example, and stuff like that. And the skull we need to do again. We will have to do it. Good. Okay. Have you ever made choice? Yes, I have. Yes, with the fine liner as well. I have. I haven't uploaded it yet, but I have done some. I actually have. Have I posted it already? I have to check. I've got so many videos that I have to post. But if you check my TikTok feed, there is a. I did a live stream. I think it was last week on vanishing points. Literally last week. So it's on my feed, not too far from the top. Yeah, good stuff. Fresh, even better. Okay. Thank you to all that joined me. Clinsey Bernard, Designs by Newman. I hope you have success with your 2D animation that you're doing or book. B, Easy Sketchbook, dear Sketchbook, and Edubness. Thank you for the kind gifts and have a lovely afternoon. I will probably see you guys in a few hours and I will post this. Check my Discord because when you check my Discord, you can join it and then you won't miss any of my lives. Thank you very, very much. What is that? I can't even read it. Let me see, just quickly. Verruchte Motor. Danke vielmal. You're late. Check my YouTube channel and then you will find the whole feed right on it. Verruchte Motor. Check my YouTube, but it will around 4 o'clock. Hopefully, I'll have it all uploaded. Take care, everyone. See you again soon. Have a nice one. Bye bye. Guten Appetit.